welcome, everybody. This is Maniac Tim with Maniac Sports. And shoot, I got back from the Chicago Bears hosting the Detroit Lions, and OMG, it was really nice to go to Soldier Field. Although I froze pretty good, but yeah, I was just warm enough. It was at least we didn't need to deal with the snow and all the elements that come along and stuff like that. So hey, Lions remain undefeated in the NFC North, you know. And I'll tell you what, some of you idiot fans from other NFC North teams that are saying the Lions have not beaten anybody good, you guys are insulting yourselves. I mean, take a look at it. Take a look at who we beat Green Bay twice. All right, we beat the Bears twice. We beat Minnesota once. We beat Dallas when Dallas was good. Okay, and you're trying to tell me, we we handed Dallas their butts. We went ahead and toyed with them. We also, were the Texans beat them too. Yeah, Jacksonville. You can argue where they're a bad team and stuff like that. Uh, you can argue there. Titans. I mean they're a bad team. LA gave us. LA is not a bad team. They had most of their people when they played us. Um, Tampa Bay, they beat us. They beat us, and they kind of screwed us a little bit. But what did they do? They woke us up. They woke us up. Buffalo basically spanked us in the ass and said, "Hey, kiddies, what you're doing?" But you know what? They didn't beat us by that much. I mean, they were in control of the game for most of the game. But play here and there and stuff like that. Hey, who knows? It could have been different. But I mean, you had Josh Allen that was playing at the height of his career MVP season. You know, but is the Lions hangover back again? You know, because I mean, well, actually, they did what they did end up coming back and win. But I mean, it's just you look at what had transpired, throughout the season and stuff. I mean, Seahawks. I mean, yeah, they're not that good right now, but they were doing good. Cardinals. I mean, they were up and coming until they met the Detroit Lions. So it's and you guys want to say, hey, Lions haven't beaten anybody. You know, Lions have not played anybody. We were playing the first place schedule. You know, so it wasn't like we were playing a last place schedule. And you guys got to remember last year with Justin Fields, the Bears were a formidable opponent. The Bears went ahead and they won 7, lost 10 games last season. And they upgraded in quarterback. And they also upgraded in receivers. Plus the Bears have an awesome defense. So and you guys are trying to tell me, trying to tell the Maniac that that the Lions are fake, that the Lions are wimps. Like these wimps are kicking your guys' butt. And I hats off to Minnesota. You guys are keeping pace and basically the contenders. But are you gonna be able to beat Green Bay twice? You know? I mean, you guys gotta play Green Bay next week. And yes, we gotta play the 49ers. And and I'll tell you, the 49ers have seen their better days, you know, but they're also a team that that can still hurt people. Some of their people are coming back from injuries. Uh, so and when the Packers beat the 49ers, they did not have Brock Purdy. They didn't have kiddos. They didn't have a lot of people. So they were pretty well beaten up, basically. And you cannot and in this Bears game, you cannot say that the refs handed the Lions the ball or the game because they didn't. I mean, there was cause. And yeah, the Lions may go ahead and use a trick play and stuff like that every now and then. But what team doesn't? What team doesn't use trick plays here and there and stuff like that? You know, I mean, actually, it's kind of genius, and that's the way you write things are written in. I mean, yeah, you had holding calls that were against the Lions, and they were deserved defensive holding calls. So Caleb Williams was able to move the ball against the Lions. So obviously not enough. Lions were never really in jeopardy of losing the game. You know, so so you guys are trying to the NFC North fans are trying to say the Lions are not a legit team. It's just sour grapes. And hell, if the Lions go ahead and beat the 49ers and beat the Vikings, you know, who knows? Who knows what will come along? You know, I mean, hey, and the Lions are a legit team. So you cannot say that they're not. I mean, you can say it, but it doesn't make it true. It's just sour grapes. You know, it is. And like I'll give props, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota went to Seattle and beat Seattle. You know, I mean, I'll give you guys props. You guys have hung right along with the Lions, but you guys already lost to the Lions one time. It is what it is. Record speaks for itself. You know. So right now, the Lions are the king of the NFC North. If you also look at uh, teams, teams that are looking that are building and being better. I mean, look what the Commanders did. The Commanders went ahead and won. The Eagles. Yeah, are now one game again behind the Detroit Lions. And hey, it's like shoot, the Lions are the Lions mean business, dude. You know, and they've been Rambos, they've been hit, they've been uh beaten up on the defense. Uh Jamar Gibbs went in and shined like hell. Jameson Williams, yes, he threw the ball at the feet and got unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against them. But yeah, I mean that pass that he caught for the touchdown, OMG, it just shows how fast and how fascinating he is. You know, it just and once the timing gets to be where it's undeniable, hey, you guys better watch out. You guys better just keep watching out. And when the defense starts coming back, I mean, hey, and I'll tell you, for the most part, the Bears fans treated us well. We did have one guy that was kind of like a jerk. But other than that, the Bears fans pretty much treated us well. Juan and I, friend of mine, we went. to Chicago. Great. It was a great game. It was, and it was, it was, it just shows how the Lions are reacting to what happened. You know, I mean, and if you look at, people that want to say Chicago is a bad team, I mean, a lot of their, a lot of their, uh, a lot of their games are lost by very, very, very few points. Very few points. So, you cannot tell me that Chicago is really that bad of a team. You know, uh, they played, they played games, you know, um, I mean, Packers, they beat them by a blocked field goal. If they wouldn't have blocked that field goal, it, what would have been, you know? What would the real score have been? I mean, heck, if you look at last year, you guys are trying to tell me that that the Bears are not a legit. And just remember, they upgraded at quarterback and they also upgraded at receiver. They had two high number one draft picks. Okay, and so they upgraded. They have a great defense. You know, their defense has rescued you know Chicago in the first part of the year. And one of the reasons the Chicago Bears record is bad because hey, these teams that play each other, the NFC North that plays each other, one team's gonna lose. And now yes, you don't have Eberflus anymore. And I'll tell you, I think that does make a difference. You know, uh, also makes it. I mean, the Lions, you know, Harley sacked Caleb Williams. Harley did, but they were able to, sack him I think one time. But hey, and that was without Hutchinson. So but you just go ahead and you look at what has transpired here, what has transpired in the NFC North. You cannot say that the Bears are a bad team. The Bears got beaten by better teams. You know, uh, you know, the teams that they should have. I mean, look what the Bears did last year. To the Bills. You know, I mean, just take a look at what they did last year to the Bills. 41-9. 41-9. That's what they beat the Bills by last year. You know, Bears beat the Cardinals last year. Of course, their first game they lost to Green Bay. They beat the Seahawks last year. Uh, like I said, they beat the Cardinals. They killed Tampa Bay last year. I mean, they just totally annihilated last year. Last year, they totally annihilated Tampa Bay, 10-48. Uh, Dolphins, and this was when the Dolphins last year was playing at a high performance rate. Last year they lost to the Dolphins, but they were able to score 28 points and they lost 28-31 at Miami last year. Um, Patriots, yeah, Patriots wasn't that good of a team last year, you know, but they only lost to them by a touchdown last year. Jets, Jets were last year without Aaron Rodgers, the Jets were bad. This year without Aaron Rodgers, the Jets are still bad. Or with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Jets are still bad. Um, but you want to look at it. They beat the Vikings last year, and this was without Caleb Williams. You know, uh, we're and let's go ahead and let's get to their record this year. You know, this year. Okay. Right. What I even say last. But I mean, the Bears are a formidable team. Okay, to get back here, I actually think that it's. I'm sorry. Please bear with me a little bit. So I'll make sure I'm actually on the right. Okay. So of course, this year the Bears beat Tennessee 24-17, and that was Caleb Williams' first or second regular season game. In preseason, they beat the Chiefs. Uh, this year, they lost to the Texans by a score of 3 points. Well, this can't be right. The Bears started out. But this year, they beat the Bills. Okay, so yeah, I'm right. I'm sorry. I'm right here. So okay, let's go back here. All right, let me share my screen. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so all right, the 2000, yeah, 2024 season. Uh, and yeah, I'm not gonna worry about preseason games, but yeah, Bears beat the Titans. Bears lost to they lost to the Texans. They lost to the Colts. Then they beat the Rams. All right. Uh, of course, they beat the Panthers. They beat the Jaguars. They messed up and they lost to the Commanders. I'm sorry that one was funny. They got a flobber knocker handed to them with the Cardinals. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Yep. How's it going? How's it going, Granddaddy 12? Kodak. Yeah, but yeah, the Bears. So people want to say the Bears is a bad team. They have lost. Okay, so against opponent, I mean, against opponents, they have lost by 3 points to the back the first game. Yeah, yep, that was the line. I loved it. I was there. I was there. Friend of mine from work, we went there, Granddaddy's at 12, and OMG, that was great. Other than freezing, you, you know, uh, we had a great time. It was, and I'll tell you what, there was so many Lions fans there. I mean, we all know how the Lions fans travel well and stuff like that. Uh, it just, it was magnificent. You know, uh, I and I mean, a few of the Bears fans. Uh, we had one Bear fan that was kind of like a jerk. But it wasn't nothing that trying to fight or anything like that. Nobody poured beer on us. I had a little bit of Lions gear on. I had let me get my camera back on. Uh, I hit the wrong button. I took my okay. So I had my of course, this is all my cult, so everybody knew I was a Lions fan. So hey, it was great. It was great. Oh boy! I mean, talking about trick plays. I mean, uh, it was either one hell of a coincidence or a trick play, but uh, Jared Goff looked like he stumbled, started to fall. Jamar Gibbs started to fall, and uh, uh, Jared Goff went ahead and threw the pass to Sam Laporta, touchdown pass. Yeah, the 34-17. The Lions had two takeaways, uh, two fumbles that they got from the Bears. Scored on both of them. One they scored a touchdown, one they scored a field goal. Uh, Jameson Williams went ahead and he got penalized for when he caught the ball, threw the ball so called at the defender's feet. So unsportsmanlike conduct that went ahead and backed them up. Uh, I'm not blaming the refs for anything. They did what they did. They called. Yeah, I gotta admit they called the game right. They didn't help the Lions at all. No, there's no way you can say that they helped the Lions. If anything, you could say they might have been leaning towards the Bears, but I mean those defensive holding calls, they were legit calls. By number 69, uh, it was they were legit calls. Um, I had hoped the Lions would have scored another few points because I wanted them to score 45. My pick was 45-7 Lions. That's what I had predicted the score would be. They fell short, and of course the Bears uh, scoring more. You know, I mean, some of the shots that Kalen Williams had downfield to DJ Moore and also Caleb Will. DeAndre Swift, he had a few good runs and stuff like that, but you know, hey, Gibbs, Jamar Gibbs, he's real, man. He's real. Jameson Williams, wide open, 60-yard touchdown pass. It was sweet as hell. Sweet as hell, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold back. I'm gonna be happy as can be. I'm gonna celebrate, and I'm gonna say, you know what? NFC North in your face. We are undefeated. We are undefeated in the NFC North. I mean, we beat Green Bay twice with Jordan Love at Green Bay, at Detroit. We beat Green Bay the last the last 5 out of the 6 times. So you want to say the Lions ain't a real team? Hey, just go ahead and take a look at yourself in the mirror. You know, we beat um last year we beat the Bears twice, I think it was. We beat Minnesota twice. I mean, hey, you want to say the Lions are not for real? I mean, come on. Take a look. We have led the NFC, not only the NFC North, but the NFC most of the year. The National Football Conference. There's only one team in the NFL that has more wins than the Detroit Lions, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. And you know what? They have not slobber-knockered people like the Lions have to some teams. And they do not have the amount of injuries that the Lions have. And I'll tell you what, there was only one team that really kicked us in the teeth, but they woke a sleeping giant up. And that was Buffalo. They kicked us in the teeth. But you know what? They woke us up. They may have went ahead and slapped us around, but you know what? They woke the Lions up. Just like Tampa Bay did earlier in the year. But it was not near as, I mean, when, Tampa Bay did not control the game like the Buffalo did, So you guys, I mean, it's just like, hey, NFC North, you guys want to go ahead and say, yeah, we're not king of the North. BS, because I'll tell you what, and we're looking at the last 2 years. I mean, yeah, 4 years Green Bay has been king of the North. I will give you guys accolades to that. 4 years Green Bay has been that. Minnesota has been kind of the runner-up. And for a lot of years, the Lions were the jesters of the NFC North. Not anymore. Not anymore. So, hey, you want to know what brings out the maniac in me? Not getting credit for what wins that the Lions deserve. That brings out the maniac in me. I mean, yeah, Minnesota, you guys are right up with us. And I will give you guys credit. But you guys also lost to us one time this year. And we don't know what you guys are going to do in the against Green Bay next week. So just go ahead and take a look at that. Oh God. Yeah, right. Underwear on too tight brings out the man. That's a good one. That is a good one. I mean, and like the Lions are undefeated. The Lions are undefeated on the road. And we have lost 2 games. We have lost two games. 2 games at Ford Field. Or is it when the dryer eats up one of those socks that can bring out the maniac? And yeah, oh yeah. I'll tell you what. I need to hire a PI to find out what you got to. Dryers are sock monsters for sure, because I mean, hey, they just they just go ahead and eat up those socks. Okay, it's going It's good to hear you laugh. Thank you. Hey, and you know what? It's good to laugh and not cough all the time. And now since I said that, I'll probably start coughing. But yeah, I mean it's it's great. But you know what? I mean, hey, I'm in heaven. This season, it's just so great. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna work if the Lions do make it to the Super Bowl. All right, I'm gonna look to have a Detroit Lions on a Prowl reunion in honor of Jim Bordeaux. I gotta talk to some people yet, but I do want to do that for him. You know, I do want to do that for Jim's family. So if the Lions win the Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl, I'm gonna have Detroit Lions on the Prowl reunion. And if anybody says that I can't do it, I don't care because hey, I'm co-founder of Detroit Lions on the Prowl, and it's not that I'm taking over the show, but it's going to be a respectful reunion, and I'm going to try to get as many people of Jim's family that wants to be on it, and also former hosts, former guests. And it would be awesome to even if I could even get Herman Moore in that show. I don't know if I can, but I mean, it's just I really want to. I'm sure I can get Kurt Steele, Mike, um, Terrence. Yeah, I haven't talked to anybody, and I'm actually I'm announcing it now. But yeah, I mean I would like to co-collaborate with these people when I do the show. It will be on Maniac Sports, and hopefully I'll be able to get it on the Detroit Lions on the Prowl channel too, as like a reunion. You know, because hey, you know, this is one thing I want to do for my friend Jim. And his family. You know, Lions' biggest foes, Seahawks. We kind of uh, beat them this year though. Bills and themselves. Sometimes, yeah, true. A team just gets in their own way, and that's true. It is, and then and also complacency. Yeah, and that's with any team. You get, I mean, this like, I mean, now Dan Campbell has a way of making words, like moldy bread and all that other stuff. You're used to eating prime rib, you're used to eating steak and stuff like that, but you forgot about the days of moldy bread and all that other stuff. I mean, yeah, you know, you get to the point where you think that you're too good. You go ahead and you're riding high. Then you're flipping some of the games and stuff like that, and you lose a few here and there now and then, and then yeah, what happens? Okay, the Lions go ahead and get lose the second game. Yeah. Oh, because of all the injuries, Lion season is over. Everybody, the earth is falling and stuff like that. But not with this bunch of guys, not with this family, this team. They go ahead and they band together. They figure out a way to do it. Okay, let's see. I will tell you that Tim's right. Now, you can do that. I won't let you. Okay? Uh, tell you, Tim. I won't let you. Okay. We got that out of the way. Yep. Yeah, no one should say you can't do that. That's silly. If anyone tries to claim that you are half of the Detroit, yeah, right. I am co-founder, and I just came up with that deal right now. I was talking to my wife about it, and yeah, I'm going to do that, and it's going to be a reunion show. Okay, I'm no one saying the Bills are not tough. That's true. They earn their win. Yeah, and I don't know if before if you heard or would be. I'll give them all the accolades. They are tough. They won. They But if you look at it, the week before they got their face slapped too by the LA Rams. You know, so they're not Mr. Perfect either. All right, they're not unbeatable, unbeatable, unbeatable either. So, but yeah, no, they deserve to win that game. I'm not blaming that on the refs or anything. The old things don't get, and yeah, the whole thing. Okay, slow down, Tim. The whole thing is don't get in your own way. Don't like the Finns did versus the Texans. And like today, the Jets versus the Rams. They make a play over 10 yards, get the first down, and it's called back for holding. Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, there's whole there's holding on every play too, just about. You know, but there's certain type of holdings you can get away with, and then there's certain you can't. Honestly, Tim, won't say names, but you should have been given full control of Detroit Lions and the Proud. There should have been not allowed to go hiatus. You should be getting the earnings because you are committed to it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you. Yeah, just my 2 cents. I appreciate it. It's selfish to hoard the Detroit Lions on the prowl, and it would allow others to stream on it to boost up their channel. You are a chill guy and easy to work with. Thank you. I 100% appreciate it. You know, I really do, and it's well, I also gotta make my own way too, and but it's who knows, things work out, who knows, and I just might. I mean, I have not talked to Val in a long time. I'm going to text her and see what's going on. I'm going to, find out. And and if I can't talk to her, you know, the channel's defunct now and stuff like that. Hey, you know, Tim, like Jim, is all about the lines with you, the fans, giving them a voice, bringing news to them, a safe place. Exactly, exactly. It is, and that's what the Lions were supposed to be. That's what when me and Jim started, it was Detroit Lions on the prowl from a fan's perspective. And that's exactly what it was supposed to have been. So it's definitely, and I mean, you know, I got the capability to actually, I mean, if I wanted to be streaming it right now, I could simulcast on that right now. Uh, but I'm kind of honoring Jim. I mean, Jim. But I'll tell you what. I mean, I've talked to their family, and Jim's family would be totally behind me doing me doing this. I'm sure they, I'm sure they would. I mean, at least I wouldn't get drunk and fall asleep on at the draft show or anything like that. You know, like Jim Ronnie. It's Roar at 4 with not only news but information or informative. Excuse me. It was informative. Jim talked and used to use views. He didn't think he was above the views. Exactly. Exactly. And I'll tell you what, in talking to Jim, especially, I mean, and when we had Marcus on the show before, I don't know if you see, was with it before when Marcus uh, was Detroit Lions on the prowl. Uh, Jim, whenever we had a guest, he wanted to honor that guest so much and make them the star of the show rather than us. You know, he def he definitely wanted to do that. So it was he valued the fans. He valued their opinions. And he just it was and he really did. Thus, that is the issue with I had with some of the Detroit Lions on the prowl acting above the viewers. They would be selective and read some PPL comments, PPLS comments. Jim always tried most of to read most of your comments for sure. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, and I mean he respected you. He definitely, you know, and two, a lot of my questions, he was so good. Yep, yeah, exactly. No, I know you didn't know Marcus. I was introduced to Jim's channel via Bird Gang 31, who interviewed Jim. Bird Gang 31 wanted to interview a Lions content creator, and there was Jim. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I just read that. And it was a top notch interview, informative yet fun with comedy, but it was not out of the control. Like, it was solid. Cool, cool. Yep, yep. That's true. And, one of the, and that was one of the reasons why he wanted to make, he considered, you know, the Lions fans, the the people of the show, you know, they wasn't fans. They were family. Detroit Lions on the prowl, family. You know, and that's that's how it was. You know. Okay. Bird Game 31 had made my respect um, had made respect for Jim after the interview. He said, "I never interviewed a Lions content creator, and wow, I felt like I learned so much." Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I think if Jim would have, wouldn't have passed on, I think that he would have probably been working for Herman Moore and Lions Nation Unite, kind of like Mike did, or Mike Kimmer, Michael Mike did. I really think because and there would have been a lot of because Herman Moore had a lot of respect for Jim and his ideas. Now Jim had great ideas ever since he was young. All right, but he did not know how to get a lot of things out. You know, and I'll tell you what, the partnership that he could have had with Herman Moore had he lived, OMG, I'll tell you, I think Lions Nation Unite would have. I mean, he met with Herman Moore. I wasn't there at the time because Faith brought him to meet with Herman Moore, and he met with Herman Moore, and Herman Moore was like so impressed with how Jim did things and the knowledge of what Jim had. You know, it was amazing. You know, it was. I mean, and hey, it's great. You know, and I'll tell you what. Even at the end of that first year with, when we had Gary Goff, even Jim was starting to admit on how much better Goff had gotten. And I'll tell you what, he he knew what the Lions needed, and if he would have seen the Lions go to the NFC Championship game, OMG, you know, he was for the Lions getting you know, building, and that's what he said, building a team right. And I do remember one of the interviews with Herman Moore, you know, is that, you build the foundation of the team first. And I do remember Herman Moore saying this, but so what you do, you have all the crappy furniture around. No, what Jim said, yeah, for a while, you need to live with, like, maybe not the best. I mean, hell, before we had Megatron, which was arguably one of the best receivers, but you did, yeah, and Stafford did not have the offensive line for years that we got now. So you built that foundation that holds up your house, that holds up your team. And then one of the things that Dan Campbell and that Brad Holmes built is not only a foundation, but they built a camaraderie between them, between the groups. They built a family like atmosphere there. And a family like, not a family that's going to go ahead and not care if they're good or not, but a family that's going to have your back. A family that's going to do what it takes to go ahead and win. That's going to go ahead and step up and sometimes even play above your abilities to achieve. I mean, if you look at uh, the, but all intent purposes, with the amount of losses that Buffalo has had, players over the years that they couldn't resign, nobody before the beginning of the season thought that Buffalo was going to be like they are this season, but they were all wrong. Everybody threw Minnesota to the side once J.J. McCaffrey went down. They thought that Minnesota was done with. But you know what? Minnesota proved that they could go ahead and be a competitor. Buffalo proved that they could be one of those still higher up teams. Okay. Uh, Tim, it's on fire. Yeah. You are pumped up, Mike. Oh yeah, I am. I am. You know, I I'm pumped up. I mean it's my blood is flowing. My yeah. You know what? I'm enjoying life. Life is good. Life is great. Lions have never won 13 games. You know, you know this, and you know what? The NFC North is so competitive that they have not clinched even the NFC North yet. Because I mean, it's we got to play San Francisco at San Francisco. You know, you know what? I think it's going to be a different game than what it was last. You know, now, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy to just go in there and walk all over them. I know San Francisco is not a Super Bowl or is out of the playoffs and stuff like that. But you know what? They're a team that's still going to want to stand tall against the Lions. And if you look, yeah, I mean, uh, I know San Francisco lost to the Finns, you know, but you know, uh, you cannot just go ahead and say, okay, go ahead nonchalantly, like I was saying before, and go in there and think that you're gonna go ahead and beat this team because they're not doing good right now. You still have a lot of good players on that team. A lot. Yeah, I know. Laughing and no coughing. And that's great. Forward down the field, a charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, stand and cheer the brave. Rah, 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 go hard, win the game. With honor you will keep your fame down the field and gain a Lions victory. Go Lions! Yeah! Whoa! Whoa! Yeah, baby, yeah! And actually, thanks to you, you know what? Someone was singing it at the Bears game right behind me, and I was singing it right along with them. I mean, one my friend, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's who's this?" Oh shoot, yeah. No applause, everybody. No applause. I mean, yeah, I know I'm an excellent singer. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna appear on the Max Singer. Man, I would do that. I I probably get eliminated the first time though. You know, uh, and your team has gotten good and has gotten respect is when a player that at one point was going to retire, not to be traded to the Lions, said that he wished if he was capable of coming out of retirement to play for Dan Campbell's team would come and play, and that is Gronk. I mean, Gronk. Oh boy, you know, I I mean, oh God, oh boy, oh man, and I gotta admit, I did kind of want to. I did kind of want the Finns to lose because I know there's one player that if they once they're out of the game, they're going to cut because he wants to play for a contender. But hey, right now the Dolphins are still a contender. I know there's that one player on the Dolphins that that they were talking about cutting, and oh gosh, with all the injuries the Lions have, man. I mean, on the way home from the game and stuff like that, we were, you know, my friend had the had it on his phone perched up, and we were watching the Dolphins and the 49ers play, and you know, it's like, yeah, yep, and I think he's the one that got the one of the interceptions too, you know, but it's like wow, yes, Tim, the Finns actually asked Caleb Campbell. Yeah, yeah, that's right. It's Campbell. Yeah, if he wanted to, if he wanted them to cut him, and they would in honor of his request, it's up to Campbell. You know what? And I'll tell you what, if he did, oh God, oh I mean, oh God, oh man, you know, I would say thanks for the help. Thanks for if he can, oh man, I would love to see him play with us for the. It would be great if they cut him and he could play for us uh, uh, um, next week with the 49ers and with the especially against the Vikings, the last game of the year. Oh my God! Oh shoot, man! Oh gosh! Oh man! I just love that, you know. And it's wow, it would be just so awesome, so awesome, man. Man, can you imagine how I'm going to be if the Lions are in the Super Bowl? Can you imagine that? Attempt to act him if you wanted to be. Try a contender. Super League. The Ravens were interested, but the price was not right. Ah. Hey, Detroit fan, man, how's it going? How's it going, man? What a game! What a game, man! I had fun like crazy. Hey, you missed the singing of the song, the fight song. We could have did a duet. Let's give up a six, huh? Nah, you can understand that. Yeah, well, yeah. I should have taken them. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Yep, I dropped the link. That way you can hop on and sing. Yep, I sure did. There's the link. You don't need to sing if you want to hop on. But yeah, I mean, I'm fired up today. I'm fired up, man. How great it is. How great it is to be a Lion fan. But when you get on, you have to sing or tell about you. Okay, yeah, hey, you are being called to come in and sing. Okay, you're. I mean, you don't need to sing loud, but you gotta have your mic. You gotta have your mic on. There's no yeah, there's no lip singing allowed here. There's no lip singing allowed. I mean, hey, yeah, just think. I mean, let's see. We could go ahead and uh, uh, no, I'm not upset you didn't sing last time. Yeah, yeah, that was kind of funny. I said, he asked me how we should end the show. I go, well, you could always sing the fight song. He said, I could. You know what? No, I'm not upset. But you know what? I mean, and of course, I mean the motivator. I mean, this is actually Granddaddy 12 is actually a Fizz song, and he's asking us Lions fans to sing the fight song. I'll tell you what, and I'll tell you what, if he helps get that Dan or Campbell over, shoot, that would be great. That'd be great. I mean, yeah, I mean, some, and just think, if we sound too bad, if we sound too bad together, you can always just blame me for being the one that sounds bad. I don't care. I don't care. Forward down the field, a charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, rah rah, cheers the brave. And I don't know the whole song, but you know what? He will. When fans sing the fight song, Tim loves it. Yep, it cheers him up. Yeah, it does. It does. It motivates me. Yeah, yep. Oh, it sure does. I remember one time that somebody told me the Lions had a stupid fight song. Both crap. Lions have a great fight song. Oh, oh, fuddy duddy, you know what? Did I say that out loud? I did. I did. You know what? I mean, we're here to have fun. We're here to have fun. You know, I mean, that's what sports is. That's what sports should be. Enjoying yourself. Yeah, go ahead and take care of business. But you know what? Enjoy yourself too. You know? And when I say bring out the Maniac, I mean, heck, yeah, it's a good way. I mean, this is a good way, What brings out the Maniac in you? Granddaddy 12 and Maniac Tim going ahead and forcing me to sing the fight song. No, it means you're proud of your team. You're proud enough to go ahead. And I mean, heck, if you go ahead and act like an idiot in the fact, I mean, like I did, I mean, there was one. And I'll tell you what, if it wouldn't have been so damn cold, I would have got my phone out earlier. But man, I mean, you had a guy that was dancing and stuff like that right in front. And just, I mean, I think he was half drunk or something, but still, I mean, it's just yeah, that was okay. Told you, hey, Lions fan, a stupid fight song. Yeah, have a yeah. And this was a long time ago before it threw me. Was that was me? I said it was silly. No, it was way back before I even met you. I previously thought Grid on Heroes tied, so SOL, same line, but we're excellent now and still playing these songs. I don't have argument anymore. That's true. You don't have argument anymore. That's true. Tim one never knew when they can sing that can sing again. These 90s, the Lions have not had a good season until now. Exactly, exactly. Ride the hype. Ride it, ride it. I mean, we got close. All right, we got close with Stafford. But you never had that win. That kind, I mean, the last quarterback to win a game for the Lions with Eric Kramer. All the quarterbacks that we had. Then Jared Goff comes and he doubles it. You know, he doubles it. Ride the fan hype wave. Oh hell yeah! Also, do the Commanders have a song? Cause beating the Eagles like that would earn a play as well. Yeah, yeah. And did the Commanders actually? Because I know they can't have their old song. And did they have a fight song when they were called the Washington football team? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they must have had a fight song when they were the Redskins, but they sure can't use that anymore. You know. Yep. They washed football team had a song. The Washington football team. I thought it was just a bunch of toilet flush. Well, you know what? Okay, and this I'm getting from Jim. Okay, I got from Jim would always say, yeah, how okay. No, Shardy and country podcast. Please don't take offense to this, but he always says the way the the way the Bears theme is bear down is like taking crap. But he would always uh I mean that's a type of sense of humor that Jim used to have. I mean it was like the theme of the city for Muskegon where I live at. It's it was this theme when they started rebuilding and revitalizing. It's watch us go. Okay, in other words, watch how we're growing. Watch on that. But over at Pierre Marquette Park, on the restrooms, all right, on the wall there, they wrote "Watch us go." Okay, so that's a type of it's just like okay, he's seen that, and it's like yeah, watch us go to the bathroom, and that's just how I deal with it with you know. So when you brought up the toilet flushes, that's what that brought me back to the Commanders. Yeah, they're got the fight song now as a football club or a team Nah, I don't think so. Yeah. All right, Tim. I think the old Washington song was "Hell to the Redskins," but it's not giving props to the natives. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, as far as for all the, uh, even though I don't think that it was meant to be that when they went ahead and I don't think it was meant to be derogatory when they took the name Redskins, but it was just dumb thinking because if you look at American history, you know, it is a derogatory name. So I mean, they should have fought so long to keep that. They should have changed that name a long time ago. Because it didn't honor. I mean, like Florida State Seminoles. I mean, Florida State Seminoles. That's honoring a tribe. You know. And it's so I totally get that, and and it's really, you know, I mean, it's something I think the NFL should have actually even. I know they years ago had went ahead and made it where they couldn't win the merchant or couldn't. They took the copyright away from them and all that other stuff, so they could. Um, but I think they should have actually stepped in and forced them to change that name a long time ago because it is a definitely an insensitive name. Because it does not honor, you know, because it's such a slang name for okay. 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 Yeah, Tim. Who now? They probably know that the derogatory, but they kept it because it was rich. Yep. And it's going to tell them now. And who's going to tell them now? That's true. I mean, but I just think that one back then, I don't think that it was meant. When they picked the name, I think they probably thought it was a cool name, but as you grew and you found out, you should have sighed. It's insane. We won 13 games so far this season. Meanwhile, Fatty Patricia only won 13 games in 3 years. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yep. Tim, American Indian Matt thinks that trying to get to Washington to change their names since the 70s. Yep. But it fell on deaf ears. Exactly. Exactly. Once the American Indians brought that, you know, uh, to yeah, it should have been changed right away. I totally agree with you there. Exactly. It should it they yeah, because I mean it okay. Uh, in the 1920s, they were probably the team, or probably that team, like black faces until somebody said, "Hey, that's a big offense." Exactly, it's a bit offensive. It is. It's big offensive. Exactly. When I seen the 30s for 30 the name change, the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians, you seen how many racist jokes out there. I am a older than most of these knuckleheads. Yup. Yeah, I knew what you meant exactly. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, that's definitely true. Definitely, it is. And you don't. I mean, I'll tell you what. Even you know, like my high school, the Muskegon Big Reds. You know, I mean, I was, and it's still named the Muskegon Big Red, but and they were called the Muskegon Big Red, and I never thought so much about it, and stuff like that. And we had a mascot, but it wasn't a mascot that was joking or anything like that because our one of my friends, he he actually was a backup mascot for the Indian, and were they took it seriously, and they would dance like the Indian, and it would be prideful. But if you look at it, even now, you think we're seeing the big reds. You know, I mean, it's still looking at the color of somebody's skin, and it can be still known as being. There is a sports reporter from. Okay. There is a sports reporter from the 70s who converted all Washington's sports, and he still publishes and brings back the old names, even though he knows it's derogatory. Yeah, my whole old high school was called the Running Rebels. Most of the PPI there were blacks. It took the 80s to change the game. Yep. Yeah, I did. And it's really too bad that it took past the year 2000 for Washington to change their name. It is. I suggested to that reporter who wants to be kept the Hogs as part of the Washington history. The Hogs then renamed them the Washington Elements. Elements. Yeah, I mean, definitely. And really, if you, I mean, yeah, and I know you can't please everybody, but when a name is derog, derogatory to people and hurtful to people, you got to change it. You do. You know, definitely. Oh wow. All right. Cool. Yeah. So they're is it? So they're named after the Nashville. So they're named after this. Okay, then maybe not. But I mean, that was something I really didn't know. And really, if you look at it, the Indians, they were just fighting to keep their land. I mean, this land, this land, and you cannot blame anybody you know for fighting to keep their land. You can't do that. I mean, and that's what a lot of the wars were about. No one even suggested that name, not that I have seen. I said there is nothing in the area now. Anyone likes them, look up the National Predators logo. It's a saber-toothed cat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is. Wow. The thing is, it should be replaced. Is is the Chiefs, the whole chanting and banging of the drum. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always defer to the American Indians movement. They're the ones who knows. They are the actives that dive deep into it. True. True. Oh my God, I yawned. Man, it feels nice to not to cough. I mean, to actually have a show where I'm not coughing so much. That feels great. I'll tell you what, it does feel great. Wow. And you just think, I mean, should a lot of the marketing money have went, to the at least a portion of it that Washington got over the years? Should it have actually went to? Uh, I mean, we know it didn't because it went to the owners. It went throughout you distributed to most of the teams in the NFL. Because you have the shared revenue streams and stuff like that. But none of it would they never the people who it was actually hurt in this day and age never got a cent for it. The only one, okay, the only one that is different is the Chicago Blackhawks because the name was taken from the owners of U.S. World War II United logo. Okay. Or unit logo, not United unit logo. All right. I think the American Indians movement suggested to that the native tribes should get money, and that was scuffed at. I mean, I'll tell you what, I got, because that's not talking about, I mean, these are, you know, these, these are recent times where, uh, yeah, I agree. I agree with them. They should have. You know, Megan is a monitor of a Seahawks content creator. She is timing BPI for coming in and putting down the Seahawks and their loss today. She got a little sensitive, I guess. Oh, you know what? I was rooting for the Seahawks all the way. I was. I wanted them to win. Of course, because it would have helped. You know, and I'll tell you what, they just let me down 2 weeks in a row. They did. They let me down 2 weeks in a row because they went ahead and they lost to freaking uh, uh, the back cards, and then they lost to the Vikings. And these were home games. I mean, let's just face it, the NFC North teams. They didn't do good against this year. You know, they didn't. I mean, they just. I mean, it would have been a big, and it would have been a great win if they would have beat beat either of those two teams. I would love to have seen it. I mean, yeah, I mean, at least they made a game against, uh, even though they didn't lead for long, but at least they ended up making a game of it, against the Vikings. If you showed up on the channel and said, "Hi, Megan," so good behind, I wonder what she would do. I would. I, but I see one of the things that you know she is very touchy. She is very touchy about her Seahawks. She is very, very, very oh very protective. And if she thinks that you're putting down her Seahawks, she's gonna come at you with tenants tenants out. Talents out, I should say. Poking the deer, huh, poking the bear. Very sensitive, yeah. For sure she is. And I mean, it was like, I mean, I'll tell you, when last year when the Seahawks beat the Lions, I went ahead. I said, "Okay, come on my show. You're welcome on. You can go ahead and razz me." And I gave them the credit last year. This year, right after, I mean, she did end up coming on a couple days later. You know, it might have even been a week later. I can't remember. Yeah, but I do remember it was before the game. She was giving me a lot of razz and stuff like that, and I believe you should be able to razz. You know, and she had said at that time that uh, she would be back on after the game to go ahead and give me a lot of crap. And I told her, and I'm not pronouncing this word for word or anything, but I told her But I also expect you on, even if you're after the game, even if your team loses. Now, granted, I didn't stay long after the game on, but it wasn't until like a couple of days, you know, that she did come on, and then she was very, very defensive. You know, I mean, I'm one that believes, okay, you win, you get you get a chance to talk shit to me, and it's his language. But you know what? My team wins. I get that same opportunity to you. If you can, if you can't take it, don't dish it out. And and it did make it look like she, she was being a sore loser. It did make it look like that, you know, because she said, well, when she came on, it was like, oh, well, the Lions barely beat this team by this team, and all this other stuff. So she was very protective, and so yeah, you can be protective and all this other stuff, you know. But yet you're gonna talk crap when you win. You're gonna dish it out when you win. When you lose, OMG, make sure that you're there to go ahead and receive it too. You know, that's all a part of it. That's all a part of it. And that's what. And I'll tell you what. There. And on my starter show, I was giving the NFC North fans hell because shoot, you know what? They have been sour grapes against the Lions like crazy in a lot of their streams. They was like, oh yeah, Lions are not legit winners. Lions are not. Uh, they haven't beat any real teams and all this other stuff. Okay, you're saying, you know, I mean, if you're a Packer fan, you're saying your team's not a real team because we beat you twice. If you're a Vikings fan, you're saying, oh yeah, your team's not a real team because we already beat you guys once. And it wasn't so much the Bears fans saying that in the NFC North. It was, you know, it was more the Vikings fans and the Green Bay Packer fans. All right, exactly. A lot of PPI can take trash, but they can't. Uh, they can talk. They can talk trash, but they can't take it. They can't control their emotions exactly. I mean, I have one guy at work, you know, big big old Green Bay Packer fan, and I told him flat out. I said, hey, you know, uh, especially after that first one, I go, you know, you're talking trash right now and stuff like that because you know the Thanksgiving game last year and stuff like that. But you better be able to go ahead and take it if you lose. And I'll tell you what, those words hit him, and he actually told me, all right, give it to me. he actually stood up like a man, and he ended up taking it. You know, all right. I said I will give the team their followers and their Canucks. Yeah, I have to back away for a lot of controllers because they got their feelings invested in it. Yep. I was hoping Megan would show up tonight since I discovered Jim Hardball, who she doesn't like son Jay Hardball, is the Seahawks special teams coordinator. wondering how she felt about that. Yeah, you do like to push her buttons. Yeah, you do. Yep. I think you were on that show too when she came on. Exactly, yeah. Because she got because she got so mad because she thought that we were. Yep. I draw the line when they talk trash and they don't know what they are talking about exactly. It's like when you hear some non-linesman say Goff is trash. Yet Goff puts up solid numbers and he is in the talk for the league's MVP. Exactly. So he plays like he's not trash. Yeah, I mean, exactly. She don't like him. Fan man. She don't. I mean, uh, no, but of course, you see, she's a Seahawks fan first, then a Ravens fan. You know, but I mean, Ravens are a team that will go ahead and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, beat the Cincinnati Bengals, but go ahead and lose to the Cleveland Browns. You know, so I mean, you just kind of look at it it's like, all right, but I'll bet the Ravens. Excuse me, yawn. The Ravens, last time we played them, they spanked us. But hey, we don't know what they'll do now. Oh, Tim, when fans use the whole, if you watch all 22 justify their quarterbacks who played but won't apply to golf, well, apply it to golf exactly. Get a lesson if how it's how it works, not just one sided. Exactly. Exactly. That's true. Damn, Johnny. And well, I had a long day. I mean, luckily I didn't have to drive, but I mean, Juan drove and from work, and it was a long day. It was a fun day, that's for sure. Yeah, but there's one thing. Good night, but I mean, I think we ought to have a bedtime melody before you go to bed. I really do. I mean, yeah, I'm wishing you a good night, but I really think you ought to, kind of hop on and, just kind of, I mean, we'll even provide the lyrics, and just, and yes, I'll sing it with you, Uh, Tim, what did you think about the Eagles loss? I loved it. Whoa. I loved it. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. You know, I mean, they've been talking. Oh yeah, Eagles are the best team in NFC. Yeah, right. They lost to the Commanders. Yeah, yeah, they lost to the Commanders. I loved it. Are you off for the next few days? Yeah, I go back to 26. Yeah. So I mean that's um y- they're doing some work on ammonia lines and stuff like that, electrical work and that. But yeah, I'm off, and that's great. I mean, I even I had Saturday off this week. Man, it's been so long since I had a Saturday off. Well, other than needing to take a vacation because the Eagles won the 10 in a row. Now they lost. They are not taking it. They're not taking it. Oh, you got an appointment. You got an appointment tomorrow. Okay. Oh, you probably should get some rest then. I know. I know. When I hit the bed, I know I'm gonna. I know. But still, I mean, it's my wife. She has off until the 6th. So that's. If I would have filled in vacation earlier, I could have had off that long. Which I'll tell you what I should have done. I should have done it. And I'm not, me. I'm not a guy that calls into work. I, you know, but you know what? I don't know. I might, I'm not feeling the best, so maybe by not this Monday, I don't know. If I seem to kind of get a little cold, I mean, and we do have something that's called Michigan sick days, and my cough comes back or whatever. I just might need to go ahead and take next Monday off. Not this Monday. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Depends on it. It depends on if it gets worse or better. Because I might need to. Yeah, and yes, it's kind of like the. You know, I mean, I can't help it that it just happened to fall on the day that the Lions uh, play the 49ers. Of course, I'm when I go back to 26. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put in that day for vacation. And if they don't cut two people off, they got to give it to me. They And I'll tell you what, with 31 years in my plant, if they don't, HR is going to go ahead and get a little talking to. You know, I've been at that plant 31 years. Yeah, with a perfect attendance. Yeah, and Michigan law does allow us to get. And I got right now. We got to have vacation time in order to fill in the Michigan sick days. But I got plenty of vacation. I do. So, yeah, and it's even going to be expanded next year. So, yeah, I heard they're not going to be able to. Uh, I don't get too much out here, but I don't want to get myself in trouble saying too much stuff on here. But it's I love my football. I love my Lions. You know, I do, and I cannot wait. I mean, even though I want them to get that first round bye. You know, they get the Lions, Jared Goff and company takes the Lions from not winning a Super Bowl or from not winning a playoff game, excuse me, to the NFC North title last year, takes them, Jared Goff takes them from only winning 3.5 games the first year to going ahead and all the way to 3 points, 3 points away from the Super Bowl last year. Breaking records like crazy this year. Talk for the NFL MVP. At one time, one of the hottest offenses around. And you're trying to tell me he's not an elite quarterback? Screw whoever says that. Roar! Okay. Tim, reminder, you were upset at a person at work for moving around the stuff and you went to look for it and it was moved around when you were supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Like I said, put in a lot of years. I don't call in. And hey, I'm gonna put in for you know I'm gonna go ahead and put in for next Monday off. And on the 26th when I go back to work. Yeah. Whew. And we got a new supervisor because sadly our former supervisor Tina, she passed away of cancer. So we do got a new supervisor now. Uh, he's still learning and stuff like that. And I'll tell you the one that's been kind of watching over us. He made sure I got uh, the last time off. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of problems getting out. Okay, yeah. Tim, it was like when I was at work at this one place, this guy was ticklish, so a co-worker would go up and poke him on the side, and he would laugh, but get upset. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And actually, you could end up, you could end up really, even though you laugh, you could end up getting in big trouble nowadays. If they went to gosh, went to HR like that on you guy, yeah, could really get into big trouble by touching one female coworker snuck on him and he nearly jumped. Whoa, wow, wow. God. Ah, I might I might need to call it pretty soon. It's just I'm starting to get tired. But you know what? I I tell you, I'm going to be on here more for sure this week. I'm definitely going to have Christmas stream. Uh, def- maybe Christmas and New Year's Christmas Eve stream. I mean, it would be definitely wonderful if the Saints were somehow able to uh, to muster up a victory against the Packers. Oh, well, what is a Packer anyway? We had an older coworker who liked to go up to PPL and poke them in the side and say, ho, yo, ho, until they did it to him and he flipped. Yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah, you do it. If you can't dish it out, if you can't take it, don't dish it out. Exactly. I mean, it's like, yeah. And there's some people that will go ahead. You like the wrong person like that, and they can flip out on you too. You know, they get really mad. You know, but and what? See, one thing I always like to do, you know, is I like to put myself in the other person's situation, and that's what keeps me level headed in a lot of ways. You know, because if you know, I mean, I'll look at myself and I'll find fault in myself, and I'll try not to judge anybody else if they go ahead and they do the same thing. But there's so many people that are so hypocritical about a lot of things. You know, there is. I mean, they'll go ahead and they'll. It's like, okay, uh, for instance, you go ahead, you know, somebody will go ahead and take a longer break at work or whatever, and then they'll complain about the other one taking a longer break. It's like, yeah, you ought to look at your own time. I mean, I mean, I'm lucky if I get one break. You know, last week I got, you know, uh, and when because our job it's you get one paid half hour break and one unpaid half hour break, and I think one time last week I was able to get two breaks in, you know. So if I, you know, and then they'll go ahead and try to say, okay, well, I mean, I had supervisors before go ahead and say, well, you know, you got to take your second break. You got now, of course, before we had to clock out for second break, and it was automatically deducted from our checks. They didn't worry. I mean, my manager back then, he goes, you shouldn't worry. You make enough money because of your class. You shouldn't worry about the second break. Well, once they had to track and they could actually see that I wasn't getting a second break, that was when they said, oh, yeah, you got to go. I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and take second break. But if there's a changeover coming up, you're going to get mad at me because the oven was down because of the changeover. You know, you got to be, if you want me to take a second break because my job, you got to have somebody that knows how to do my job, that is responsible enough to do my job for me to go ahead and take that second break if a changeover comes up. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if a changeover comes up and I'm on break and the raw side goes ahead and does a changeover and the meat happens to be uh, higher a higher weight than what I'm running. Like let's say I'm running 1.1 sausage patties, and if they went to like a 2 ounce sausage patty, the recipe in the oven is going to be different. So if I came back and they changed over without me, not only would if there was not somebody that knew how to do my job, uh, not only could you go ahead and get under product through the oven because it was, but you know all that, and then once that happens, you gotta go ahead and clean all the freezers and stuff like that, and all that product. So it's like, okay, if you want, because my job is so important that if I'm not there, take the temps at changeovers and stuff like that, or you don't have another qualified person, people could get sick, they could die. No, and they don't seem to understand some of that stuff. Now, the supervisors that I got now, they're actually understanding and they're not trying to force me. You know, I'll tell I they tried saying, I mean, I had one of the supervisors. They said, "Oh yeah, well, if you guys don't clock out for at least 20 minutes, you guys are gonna get in trouble." I I'm the type of person. I'll tell them, "Hey, you guys gotta make it possible for me to have that break." You know, because I'm not going to go ahead and get in trouble because I miss a check because I'm on break, and I'm not going to go ahead and, uh, I mean, go ahead and let something go wrong because especially like on a changeovers. I mean, like my last Friday when I worked, all right, you know, and what I do is I run two sausage overloads, okay, and I I was determined I'm gonna get a break because everything was going fine, stuff like that. But as I'm starting to walk out, I go ahead and I'll pop in just to go ahead, check on the computer, make sure I had all my checks in and stuff like that. Line two is down. Okay. I go ahead and I look at it. It's like, try resetting things. Is that it won't reset? So I'm trying to call maintenance and stuff because it says fault, belt fault, belt too long. And what happened was one of the sensors broke and stuff like that, so it wasn't let it read in that. But if I would just went to break, that oven would have been down a lot longer. I mean, nothing would have got contaminated or anything like that. But stuff like that, I can't go to break. You know, I can't. I mean, sometimes, my first break, and usually if it's my first break and I take it so late, it ain't worth trying to get a second break in. If it's like 6 hours before I get my first break, I'm not going to try to go ahead and squeeze a second break in the last 2 hours just so that I can let them say, "Oh yeah, we're getting you a break." If it's harder for me to squeeze in a break and it's more stressful to it, then it's really not a break because you're not. And that's what I told one of my supervisors. The way you're trying to do these breaks is uh, it's just making it more stressful, and it's taking away what the break is supposed to be for, so that you can go ahead, relax for a little bit, get your mind off it. Well, no, if you gotta go ahead and try to, oh, I mean, they have trying to write people. up for breaks, for not taking breaks. Okay. Yeah, if you don't clock out and you're actually taking the break, yeah, that's time stop. But if you go ahead and can't get a break, and I've told my supervisors, you try doing that stuff, you're gonna get it. All right. Okay, Tim, they will tell us at my old job that they gave you a break when they hired you. See, our line, what our line does is it's so they actually will tell. Wow. But and it's so I told if they ever try to write me up for not taking a break when I cannot get a break, I'll go to corporate. If that doesn't work, I'll be calling the state. I'll be doing whatever because I'm not going. It's all right. Oh yeah, yeah, and it's this is actually from uh it's actually I wore this one at the game. It says grit, and I got it upside down. Okay, all right. Uh wow, 3 game balls. Okay, I tell you what, game ball. Uh, Jamar Gibbs. Uh, Definitely proves himself as a running back. Uh, I'm going to do this one for offense today. Maybe tomorrow I'll give game balls to defense. But this one is going because the defense, the players that knock out those 2 fumbles. They got to be game balls. But I'm going to give Jared Goff game ball for taking for okay, it's hard to just give 3 because you got Jared St. Brown, freak, even Jamison Williams. God darn it. I mean, that 60-yard touchdown pass from Jared Goff to Jamison Williams. And but St. Brown deserves a game ball too. Laporta, man, I'll tell you, it was fun as hell. They called it a trick play, but it looked like uh, Goff and Gibbs looked like they were going to fall down. Goff went in and passed the ball to Sam Laporta. They got a touchdown. It was awesome, man. All right, game one. Yeah, that, and that's just the offense, man. You know, now number 69 is going to be the dud, the definitely the dud because there was uh two, he had 2 holding plays that cost us yards, cost us first downs. you know, two defensive holding plays. So number 69, definitely one of the duds of the game. Uh, Jamo, Jamo still. I mean, you can almost give one to Jamo too for being because he did throw the ball at somebody's foot, you know, which caused a uh, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. But yeah, it's hard to be mad because that guy, God, that guy is so damn fast. I mean, oh my God. Um, coaches, coach of the game, and I know I'm overstepping your questions. Um, I got to give it to Aaron Glenn, coaching it to get like. I mean, even though the offense was able to score 17 points on them, those two, uh, those two knocked away fumbles and oh well, okay, defense. I Terranano too. On defense, man, I gotta give him a game ball because I'll tell you, he he stopped a touchdown and he was not caught for pass interference. I mean, he batted that thing away, and it was not passing. So I mean, Terry on defense, and so I I definitely gotta give him a game ball. Oh, Brian Brian Branch too, man. He had a lot of tackles. Iffy Elefamo, uh, that was a guy. he had a couple good stops there too. That touchdown saving stops and stuff. Um, Now, as far as for all but for no fourth down plays, I gotta give the edge of the fourth down plays because if you look at Caleb Williams and DJ Moore and also their Doomsday, man, they they actually were able to get these fourth down plays. All but I think there was like two or three fourth down plays uh, that they I think there was three fourth down plays that they were able to complete deep passes on and get them. I know the last one they got stopped on, but so yeah, I if I look at game balls for the Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, um, and of course Doomsday. Yeah, I mean it's and I gotta say I'm also Shorty uh, from the Bears Country podcast. The time that I arrived at the game, I was not able to give you a call and meet because I really wanted to go ahead and meet you in person. It would have been nice, but it was and then we were so cold once we got out of that game. Oh shoot, it was like no, we just wanted to get into a nice hot warm car. And so I mean, well, I'll tell you what, it definitely learned some things. And it was great to go to Soldier Field. Uh, it would be, and who knows, maybe next year I might go to Lambeau Field. You know, I might. I might want to go see the Lions beat the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. That would be awesome. But if I do, I think I'll find out what the ferry is because we got a ferry to Milwaukee, then rent a car in Milwaukee for a day. Well, it was good 3.5 hours, but see, I drove to my house, from my house to my friend's house, who lives in Grand Rapids. That was like a hour, almost an hour drive there. Then it was like 2.5, 3 hours from where he lives. So it wasn't real bad of a drive. Although we had to roll down because we had to roll down the windows. But I tell you, I'm just so glad I didn't have to drive though. I mean, it used to be I'm the one that when these long trips I'm the one that had to drive and stuff like that. But right now my car, yeah, I definitely need to do something about my car because it's not gonna last long the way it is. So and it's getting worse now. So uh, yeah. But I'll tell you, I am getting really very very tired. So I am going to go ahead and close this down. Thank you very much, Grandizer 12. Thank you, Detroit fan man. Maybe one of you, no, but yeah, if you don't mind singing, that's fine. I really don't care. Uh, you know, but I had to give some crap about it. You know, but but yeah, thank you, Grandizer 12. Thank you, Detroit fan man, and thank you anybody else who um, who watched my stream. I really really appreciate it. You know, and once I find out more news about, and I might even just do it for the season that we had, at the end of, and it's going to be a tribute to Jim, you know, even if we don't make this Super Bowl, I just might go ahead and do that because take care and be safe. One Friday, yeah. Roar! Roar! Man, it's so good to do that and not cough along though. So good. But yeah, hey, just remember, everybody, go Lions! Knock the maniac out of you guys. What brings out the maniac in you guys? You guys don't need to be Lions fans to be brought out the maniac. You guys can be Finn fans. You guys can be uh, um, Red Wings fans. You guys can be Predator fans. You guys can be Commanders fans. If you guys get excited about anything, when you find yourself, when you find yourself shouting because your team is winning, when you're up in the stands and yelling, hey, 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 or you go ahead and you go ahead and that quarterback is getting sacked, the opposite team's quarterback is getting knocked on their ass, and when you go ahead and you see your team go ahead and win that scoring touchdown or get that win gaming touchdown, and you're up there yelling and shouting like a maniac, that's what brings out the maniac in you. Being a fan, getting excited about it, what brings out the maniac in you? And that's the answer to it all. The being that fan. Yeah, there might be quiet maniac, but I mean, hey, there's good ways and bad ways. I mean, it's not only the ref. I mean, those refs, they can go ahead. Oh yeah, they can go ahead and they can bring out the maniac in a lot of people. I mean, hey, they did it for years. They did it for years. You know, go ahead and take away a touchdown from your favorite team. You know, so what brings out the maniac in me? 13-2. 13-2. Head of the NFC North. Tiebreaker with the Minnesota Vikings beating the Packers twice, beating the Bears twice. So far, undefeated in the NFC North, on the top spot, the number one seed so far in the NFC, all the NFC, and with 22 to 23 players on injured reserve, the Lions are the king of the NFC North. Who knows? Maybe the king of the NFC. Take care, everybody. Enjoy. FTP the Packers every day and twice on Thursday. Take care. This is Maniac Tim signing off. Go Lions! All right. Thank you all.